Hi there, welcome to Claycross. Introducing Big Phil. He's the man with the knowledge. He's the man with the know-how for this area. Stood in front of this blue brick thing. We're not on the Great Central Railway. This is one of the shafts for Claycross Tunnel because we're in Claycross in Derbyshire, just to the south of Chesterfield, and we're here to look at the Ashover Light Railway. Now, this is nothing to do really with what we've come to see, but it is got a link to the Ashover Light Railway, the Claycross Tunnel, Midland Railway, just south of Chesterfield. It was built by George Stephenson, opened in 1839, 1840. Now, this links nicely to what we're going to see today, because the line we're going to see today, the Ashover Light Railway, was also built by the Claycross Company, and that was set up by George Stephenson in 1837. So we'll leave this magnificent shaft and we'll head over to the other end of the Ashover Light Railway, and we'll work our way back over 2 episodes back to Claycross. Before we start looking at what remains of the line, here's a bit of background. A narrow gauge railway that ran 7.5 miles from the scenic and lush Derbyshire Amber Valley into the urban, former heavily industrialised Claycross, bringing remote minerals from Claycross Company's own quarries at Ashover, Fallgate and Milltown along the line to the Claycross works. I'll fill in other useful bits of information as we make our way along the line. Right, we're up at the western end now, far western end of the line of the Ashover Light Railway. This is Ashover Butts. Quite a lot to unpack here. Down at the far end, down there, you say that used to be the quarry?
Yeah.
Ashover Butts Quarry, down there. If we show you some old maps, you'll see from the old maps, this area that we're in here, there was a triangle of track, which is how they used to turn the engines. Was it the whole trains or just the engines?
The whole train. It was safer to run chimney first to go, something to do with how they wanted it to run along the bends. They always wanted it front first because of the layout of the bogies. I think it was something to do with that. Yeah.
Just on that top of that hill there used to be the what was it called?
Rainbow End Cafe.
Rainbow End Cafe. That's it.
You can see the trackbed coming up here. Look. It's effectively really just.
It's a trackbed.
It's bosh. It's just straight through there into the platform and a little side into the left, where they used to store trucks or the lining or whatever.
There is, I don't know if we're in the same spot. There is a nice old photograph with the church in the background, and the church is out of sight because of the trees now, isn't it? It's a little bit of a different landscape these days. Can't see the church. Can't see the church at all from here. But yeah, this is the station. This was the end of the line. This was the terminus. Here is the view I was just referring to with the church from roughly where we were just stood. Phil mentioned the triangle, and here is a train ready to head back towards Claycross. Where the Rainbow Ends Cafe is in the background, and that cafe was saved and is currently in storage. So we're heading in that direction. We're making our way back to in the direction of Claycross today. It's going to be an interesting video to see how this one turns out, because this is one of those where it involves you having to use a little bit of imagination, and the further east we go, the further towards Claycross we go, the less there is to see. In fact, in Claycross, am I right in assuming, apart from a bit of banking and the bridge abutment, there's not really. I mean, I was just, even if you just have a look on the aerial views, the housing estates at that end now, where all the works used to be, where the line went.
Well, it's the outcropping that first did it, and then now it's housing, so it's just 2 generations gone, hasn't it? You know,
yeah.
Through 2 different changes.
So the triangle we've talked about just converging here, and this would have been the trackbed, because we're about to cross the river for the first time. Say this is the River Amber.
Yeah, and it's got several crossing points. Look at first, because we can find some things.
Look at this, look at this. These old bridge supports and bridge abutments.
Strange angle.
Swing you around here just to get a different view of that side. I'm just hugging a tree as I'm doing this. There's quite a bit of that old bridge there, just laying crumbled in the middle of the river. It's come off that side there, hasn't it? This is a beautiful part of the world, the Amber Valley, isn't it? Construction for this railway line started in 1922 and the railway opened to goods traffic in 1924. Now the original intention for this line was for a full scale railway line. What's the full scale? What's it called? Full gauge, normal.
Standard gauge. Standard
gauge, that's the phrase I was looking for. But at some stage, they figured out it was going to be cheaper to build it as a 2-foot narrow gauge railway.
Possibly because they knew they could get so much old World War I redundant line, trucks, locos, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
definitely
cheap.
made an influence on it, didn't it?
And I've actually got the gauge, exact gauge it was built in here. 1 foot 11.5 inches, which is 597 millimeters if you're born in my generation. So let's call it 2 foot. Why argue about the half? What's an half inch? Quite a lot, I suppose, if you're dealing in railway wheels. So do we think that the lines come over that little bridge there?
This is it there, look.
Or is this the bridge?
No, the bridge is just back there somewhere.
So do you think this hump?
So it's either
here,
this hump or it's this side in the undergrove. You need to weigh up where that bridge was.
It's certainly been artificially raised, hasn't it?
Looks like this to me.
There's certainly an embankment here. Try and get you down just to get you some perspective. This little raised area.
What is this? Because the amber comes right close up to it there, look, so it won't be on that side, or it'll just fall into the amber.
Yeah, and this little banking continues, doesn't it? This fence. In fact, it's even got a little bit more definition here, look. Isn't it? So this is the River Amber again, so we're expecting to see another bridge in here. Yeah.
That side I can see it. This side crumbled a little bit, look.
Yeah.
Well, it's all crumbled, hasn't it?
It's not great, is it? There's none of the central piers on this one, is there?
No, it's quite strange. But of course, this amber was diverted 1 or 2 times further down the valley. It'll throw you out when you're trying to find the bridge, but this one, it was here. That's the corner piece, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, I think we'll get a better view from
yeah, it is.
the other side.
Yeah, you can see it.
See a little bit of the abutment sticking out there, can't you? And there's a lovely little archway here that just a little farm road. The amber goes under there, look, right next to the railway bridge. Well, this is the bridge, you can see. Yeah, you can see. Call it a plinth, shall we?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not good at terminology. There's that many components in the bridges.
Concrete bit across the top, and there's the. You see there, look. You see the edge of the bridge, edge of the abutment, and you can get a much better view at the other side, look, on this one as well. And is this the trackbed then? Is this?
Yeah, this is trackbed heading towards Salters Lane Halt, which is they say lane, it's basically a small path, but I suppose them days they were lanes, weren't they? So it's private, so we ain't going to walk down there. We'll go round and we'll go down Salters Lane and see what we find at the bottom.
I mean, obviously we're sticking to public footpaths as much as we can, trying to see what we can as legally as possible. We don't want to be tramping across private land with gates and signs on, but it's a lovely walk, meandering along the rough course of the trackbed. It's the river as well, sneaking its way through there. This line did carry passengers, which I'll tell you a little bit more about as we progress down the line. Passenger traffic started in 1925. There's very little. There's nothing left of any of the stations. It's really hard to try and figure out, and maps seem to list them as approximate locations. Salters Lane Halt is our first halt after leaving Ashover Butts, and it would be roundabout here. It consisted of a low platform and wooden shelter. Like a few locations of the halts that we encountered, different maps seem to have the halts in slightly different places.
I mean, cattle have come for shelter here, look, haven't they? I think it runs along the wall all the way down now.
Is it the other side of the wall then?
Yeah, I think it's over there, look. As you can see, that's all. It looks to me like it's running along this, all the way down there. You'll pick it up down here because we can get to a path down there. But there's no ramp, you can't really see the track bed at all.
So it was mentioning about the passenger service. So it was quite a popular tourist line, this, for the generation. What was it open? 30. Not even 30 years, 25 years. Yeah. Yeah, and obviously because it was all owned and related to the Clay Cross company, they ran excursions here for the workers out to this lovely part of the world. Here's another set of old bridge supports. Look, let's get through this tree down here onto the side of the river. There we go. Practically in the river now, aren't I? Yeah, we can get a really good view. This one's really open, look. So what have they constructed this? So bear in mind this was constructed in the 1920s, so railway engineering was very advanced in terms of, well, railway building by then, wasn't it? So you see how they use the mortar, look. It's a use of concrete, isn't it? Well, I was saying the same one on this side. No bridge supports in the middle of this one either. Oh, I'm tangled. Get through, that's it. Careful, some fishing wire down here, I don't want to fall in. And there's the near side abutment as well.
You thought there'd be a foot crossing here, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, you'd think so, yeah. Yeah, you can see, look. You see down, you can see it quite well from down here.
Very narrow as well, though.
Yeah.
It's like a big Halt plate, miniature railway embankment, isn't it?
You can get really good perspective of the track bed here, look, as it comes across that bridge and disappears off. And on that little embankment, I think we're going to walk parallel to it on this footpath here, aren't we now? Alongside this little river walk here. We've just been saying this area of Derbyshire seems to be so under celebrated. This little ford here, this isn't related to the railway. The railway's literally next door. But this little ford and this little bridge here. Quaint. Get a better view of the track bed here, look. Saying there's a lot of trees on the actual track bed that's been chopped down, but that's the track bed. We're looking straight back to where we've come from, isn't it? And then this way you can see the definite embankment there.
That's like a culvert then, it went over.
There isn't there,
Yeah, so the reason that this is crossing the Amber so many times is because when they were trying to keep the cost down, they would find it cheaper to put these small decking bridges crossing the Amber rather than try and avoid the Amber and go round and fall victim to, the lay of the land. So that's why it just keeps crossing so many times. This way looks quite high up.
Oh, we're right next to it again, aren't we?
Yeah, it just keeps springing up right now. Look at the size of that embankment. I say that, it's nothing really, but compared to what we've just seen, this is like a major structure for this line.
That's agonisingly close, isn't it? That's so inviting to walk on. Such a shame.
If we went for this path, we'd have been snookered.
Yeah, this is the better end of this railway for showing you things that I was saying. Part of the line, he's now underneath a reservoir, and then as we get into Clay Cross, it's been taken over by development. I mean, it's been closed since, the 1950s, so it's had 70 odd years worth of development on top of it. Another little glimpse of the track bed. You can see, just clinging to that little ridge. So, Fallgate, we're just approaching Fallgate now, and look at this. We've got lines still in the road here. This there, and over here as well. That's a really good example. Look how that one's buckled.
heavy vehicles. There used to be an access into quarry on left here, and I think big trucks have come up and bent it.
And if you just look at this, we've got another line, half a line left now joining us there, but yeah, got the end of a point here, look, thick end of a point. Amazing that that's still present. Right, we'll get to that in a minute down there. But the reason for these, just here, so we've got an old lime works here, haven't we?
There's an old quarry behind the tree line at the top, a huge quarry. This used to be called Milltown Quarry originally, and then it's been called Fallgate, and then something else now, Fallbrig I think it was called. But there was you can see the foundations there. There's a huge structure here, some kind of processing plant, not really a plant, but you know what I mean. So I don't know whether stuff was coming out from above on conveyors maybe, you know, because it ran until the late 60s. They were doing some sort of process and it was coming down here, and these lines suggest to me they ran underneath or to the side. I mean, this is guesswork of course, but this is what you've got to do, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good guesstimate, isn't it? Yeah, cop really. I'm not sure. There is a picture I think you can find of it, and of course you look at them in the past, you don't clock on what's happening, and you get it, you think, oh, I wish I looked at that picture a bit more. But in any event, that kiln looks to be out of the equation as regards its plan, because that's going to be really old, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you know, there was something going off there. Whether that was connected to rail, who knows? But basically, if you turn the camera around, these went into one line and hugged that shelf going down there. Looked quite steep, and eventually levelled off and joined the, you know, the main line that we've been following further down. Yeah. So that's slightly lower than we are at the minute. Yeah, just down behind there. I mean, whatever powered the trucks to get up here, that's quite steep, you know. Yeah. You know, that's fairly steep. So I'm just standing on the level with that shelf here. Those tracks just coming straight in front or behind me now. If we just come down here, we should be able to see, call it the main line that we've been following. You see there's a bit of a different she's coming from that way straight through there. Look, you can see it's being cut out there. You can see there's a retaining wall along the side, because that other line joining from that quarry is joining us from that way, and those two lines will converge just a little further up. Quite a lot going on here. We've got the two lines that we've just been talking about just over here, and we also had the mill there, floor spar. Yeah, we use a floor spar crushing plant powered by that mill's powered by a pipe. That pipe there, look, that comes down from the quarries behind, and then it's a derivatory here, look, coming down, so that will power in it. That floor spar mill in the distance we just mentioned a few moments ago, now that was up for sale last year, and the images can still be seen on the Rightmove website of some of the mill workings inside. It was on the market for just over £1.2 million. Now I'm wondering if they would have accepted the Ford Fiesta as a down payment. So this is the shelf of the line coming from the little quarry. I've just been looking at that kiln, the tracks. So at some stage up here, so you say it runs side by side for a little while with the main. There's another sleeper down there. Yeah, there is one there. It's very wide. But this road's been widened a bit down at the bottom, as you'll see. That shelf continued until it got level with the line coming in from the left, but the landowners took it away to confuse people like us who was trying to work out what happened. It's not all what it seems. 70 years, isn't it? So long. A few generations have changed there. So that's coming in and joining. So the other lines, just where the seat is, it's like the apex. But they didn't join, they just ran side by side, and they kind of just went towards that wall where the paddocks sign is. Two little tracks, and this was slightly narrow, this road, so he's took away the land here, look, for parking cars. Yeah. That was a level crossing, and you can just see Fallgate Station, or Shack, whatever you want to call it, just there, look. We'll have a look at that. Well, close as we can get to it. I think it's out of bounds now, isn't it? Slightly, yeah. Yeah. So here's the railway coming across here. Level crossing, you say? Yeah. Yeah. I would have thought they'd have gates like that, but you know. Through it, and then that little shack there. So this is the site of Fallgate Station then. Yeah. Busy area this way. Yeah, widened out to 2 or 3 tracks that were like an interchange point to getting into the local quarries. There's 3 or 4 sidings. You often see pictures of lots of trucks all loaded up with stone there used to be a big black water tank stood just there that obviously probably fed maybe from the hammer, I'm not sure, probably connected to either the quarry or the engines, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And there was a building on this side. Yeah, fairly busy compared to what we've just seen. This was, for me, the like, main hub of this line really, because of the interchange points with the quarry and the sidings. There was a machinery down there, sort of processing plant that was stood down there. Very busy, but of course it's all dead now. Look, and
changed, doesn't it?
Houses on there, and that station does not look like a station. It's just a shack which would have survived due to the quarry using it for storage of tools and anything.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that's there really, but it don't look like a station, does it?
No, you would never guess, unless it's only because I've seen that in lots and lots of old photographs. Yeah. So this is Fallgate. We know that the line closed in 1950, but within the village of Fallgate, the railway survived in isolation well into the 1960s to serve the quarry and the floor spar washing plant. We filmed this with the intention of putting it out as 2 parts, but as I was editing, I soon realised I had over 50 minutes of footage just from part 1. So we'll leave it there and we'll pick up the next section of our journey towards Claycross in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. So thanks for watching, and see you soon.